Oh, hey everybody. Well, as you can see today, we're out fishing in beautiful New Smyrna Beach, Florida. And before we took this little fishing trip, we made sure to meet 3 requirements, right? First of all, I've got all my licenses and registrations for the boat. Secondly, we had to be sure to bring all of our gear and plenty of bait. And thirdly, we've got life jackets and all of our safety equipment. Well, welcome to the Epic Flight Academy. Today we're going to talk about landing IFR, and similarly there are 3 requirements. Welcome to the instrument rating course. I'm Mike Thompson, your host, and to be successful in the course, remember these keys. Number 1, study this material in Epic's online instrument course. Number 2, watch these videos. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. And number 3, you are going to want to review all of this content one-on-one with your flight instructor. So, landing IFR, what are those 3 requirements? The 3 requirements to land IFR are listed in FAR 91.175, and those 3 requirements are: number 1, I have the aircraft on a stable approach. Number 2, I have the minimum flight visibility for that approach. And number 3, I have some way to visually identify the runway of intended landing. So let's take those 3 requirements in order. Number 1, a stable approach. So 91.175 talks about the aircraft being continuously in a position from which a descent to the landing on the intended runway can be made at a normal rate of descent using normal maneuvers. Now, we interpret this to mean that the aircraft is in a stable approach, on centerline, on glide path, at the correct airspeed, in a manageable rate of descent, a stable approach. Number 2, what is the second thing that I need? The second thing that I need is the flight visibility not less than the visibility prescribed in the standard instrument approach being used. Now, if you take a look at this little excerpt from an IAP and instrument approach procedure, you can see the visibilities highlighted in yellow. Those visibilities might be listed in runway visual range, as you see here, 24, that means 2,400 feet, or they might be listed in statute miles, as you see here, highlighted in yellow, the numeral 1, that means 1 statute mile. So I want you to review that in particular with your instructor. Now, when we talk about visibility, be sure you understand that in general, we talk about 3 specific types of visibility. First is flight visibility. That is the visibility forward from the cockpit of an aircraft in flight. In other words, what the pilot can actually see. Number 2 is ground visibility. The visibility at an airport as reported by an accredited observer. And then finally, the runway visual range. This is the horizontal distance a pilot will see down the runway from the approach end. Now, these RVRs are measured by the use of what we call a scatometer, and you can see a picture of a scatometer here. The scatometer replaces the older transmissometer technology. And RVRs will be reported when the visibility is 1 statute mile or less. And then thirdly, remember, we have to have some way to visually identify the runway of intended landing. Now, on our list here, you can see in the small Roman numerals the 10 ways listed in 91.175 that the FAA will accept as my visual identification of the intended runway. So let's take a look at each of those briefly, and then in more detail. Please review this in the materials and with your flight instructor. So the first one, number one, the approach lighting system, or ALS. And on this graphic, you can see shown side by side here various approach lighting systems. And I'm going to want you to examine each of those carefully and review those with your flight instructor. Now, that ALS, or approach lighting system, will be shown on the approach chart. You can see in this excerpt near the top, highlighted in yellow, for example, it says MALSER. That is the type of ALS that you can expect to see on that approach. Number two, if you can see the threshold. And here in the picture of this runway, you can see the white line underneath of those green lights. That is the threshold. Or number three, the threshold markings, and you can see those white bars here. Those are the threshold markings. Or number four, the threshold lights, and those are the green lights here along the threshold. Number five, if you see the runway end identifier lights, or for short, we call those the REILs, the R-E-I-Ls. Now you can see in this graphic, in the left and right side of those green threshold lights, you can see those bright runway end identifier lights. Number six, if you could see the visual glide slope indicator. In this example, we're showing PAPIs to the left of the runway. Number seven would be the touchdown zone, or touchdown zone markings. And in this picture, you can see those painted on the runway. Or number eight, if you saw touchdown zone lighting. Now, these lights are embedded into the runway itself, and you can see those touchdown zone lights in this picture. Or number nine, if you can see the actual runway or runway markings, as you see in this picture, runway 30 right. Or finally, number 10, if you can see the runway lights. Again, on 30 right, you can see the lights to the left and to the right. So folks, just like when I went out fishing here in beautiful New Smyrna Beach, Florida, and I had three requirements. If I'm going to land my airplane under IFR rules, there are three requirements. And what are they again? And if you said stable approach, the minimum visibility required for that approach, and one of 10 ways to visually identify the runway of intended landing, you nailed it. Well, folks, we'll see you next time.